For this video, we are going to be exporting all of our objects into Zbrush, and for that we are going to select each and every object individually, and then we are going to import that into Zbrush as a subtool. If you select more than one object at a time and export that selection, what Zbrush is going to do is it's going to consider it as one subtool. So right now I am just making sure that I delete out all the history and I center the pivots and I freeze the transformations, because these things are something you need to take care of before you start exporting anything out of Autodesk Maya. So select each and every one of your clothing items and make sure the pivot is in the right place and the history is deleted, and the object transformations are 0, 0 and 1, 1. Then we go into file and select each and every object and export selection. So as you can see, I'm doing an OBJ export. The newer versions of Zbrush are now able to read if you do FBX or OBJ. But before that update, I think it only used to do OBJ files. Now it can do both of them, and for FBX files it gives you a bit more settings, like if you want to import cameras or stuff like that. OBJs are more simpler to do so I usually just use OBJ files. One other interesting tidbit of information is that sometimes when you export more than one subtool, you can decide that maybe you wanted to divide them into different polygroups. So when you do the FBX import, you can select more than one at a time. So for example, if I selected both of these shoes and I imported them into Zbrush as an FBX file, it will give me the option of making them into different polygroups. So as you can see here, we now have every single object as an OBJ file. The MTL file is something that comes with the OBJ, but we don't really need that data, so we're not gonna touch that. Just gonna import the OBJs only. Starting with Zbrush, we are going to go into the tool settings and just drag out a sphere, press the T key to make it editable. Position that in the center and go into the subtools. With this subtool selected, we are going to hit import. It's gonna make that sphere into a star, which is also just kind of telling you that yeah, it's importing something onto that sphere. So the first object we select is the object this sphere is going to get converted into. So for example, if I select this skirt, you can see that the sphere got converted into the skirt. You can import the rest of them in like one go if you want it, or we can do the individual imports by creating more spheres. But right now I'm just gonna go into the Z plugin and Subtool Master, just import everything in one go. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna import all those objects I exported out of Maya as different subtools. So right now you can see that the back faces are missing. That's because double isn't turned on. So if you go into display properties and just turn on double, that's gonna fix it, but you have to do it for every single subtool. So right now I'm just on the skirt and I hit double so you can see the inside of it. You can see how all of these 3D objects got imported as different subtools. So when you click them and see them, you can see that each one is different. That's how we intended the import, and by clicking on double you can see the inside of them. So right now I'm just adding some geometry, and then I am going to add wrinkles and details to everything. You can see that how we press Ctrl D on our keyboard, it goes one subdivision level higher and everything becomes more smoother. And if you gave supporting edges like to those creases, like the seams, they are going to become more prominent. That is something we did in Autodesk Maya. Now you can see that effect happening in Zbrush. So you can see that I had to delete my shirt because there was something that I missed and I had to go in and fix that. So just a small amount of error, and we are going to re-import that shirt. And like how I showed you the Subtool Master, this time I'm going to create an extra sphere just like I did by appending a new sphere going on that sphere, and we are going to hit import again, and then we are going to bring in that shirt, the new shirt, and you see that it just snaps into place. where the previous shirt was, and whatever error we had, we can fix that like this. So sometimes it becomes a back and forth process and you have to go in and out to fix that. So coming into the scarf, you may remember that there was a lot we were not able to do in Autodesk Maya. We are going to be doing that in Zbrush, so it's a lot of editing. First, just need to move this into place before we start adding like geometry and seams and more gravity. So need to make sure by pressing solo on that small button over there, you can isolate a subtool, which is quite handy, so you can look at it from all angles. And now just gonna mask out the selection. Just like that, by pressing Control and then just press Control and draw the mask on the area you want. Then hover into an empty space and left click, and it's gonna invert that mask. That way you can have everything else masked out instead of just the region where you want it to work. Like for me, that region was that sharp edge over there at the bottom, so that's how I masked everything out, and I was able to just work on that specific spot. Just increasing the brush size. You can see that all the masked out area is not gonna move. Only the area which I selected is now editable. Just gonna tweak that a bit, smooth it out. Yeah. We need to get rid of that hard edge. It was looking really unnatural. You can tune down the Z intensity. This is something you're gonna have to do a lot of because you know, sculpting with a mouse. So say we are happy with whatever art it was. If you drag left click Control on an empty space, you can clear out that whole mask. Pressing the B key on your keyboard, you can go into the brushes, and each brush has a shortcut like BDS for damn standard, BST for standard, so BMV for the move brush. I mean, basic navigation in ZBrush is something that like a lot of people have given these in their own small YouTube videos, where you can see that how do you use brushes in ZBrush, what are the shortcut keys in ZBrush that are there's a lot of YouTubers out there that can explain that to you better, but just for this video I'm gonna show you the most commonly used ones are the move brush, the standard brush, and the damn standard brush. Also the clay brush, but for the scarf I don't think we need any sort of clay buildups, so we're just gonna make do with the damn standard and move brush. And we are going to just stop the video here, and in the next one I'm gonna complete the scarf and the other subtools, then we are going to bring them back. Hopefully in the next video.